Let's settle for F.U.S.E, shall we? That's a track from the forthcoming LP, which is Dimension Intrusion on Warp Records, and it's Richie Hawtin, in fact. So, F.U.S E. We'll stay with F.U.S E. And we've got a session tonight, or a repeat of the session from The Fall, and they're currently recording a new EP, which should be out in the autumn, we're told, and I hope it includes at least a couple of the songs that were in the recent excellent Mark Goodyear session. And The Fall will be touring America in August, and in Europe in the autumn. And this is Paranoia Man in Cheap Shot Room.
Goes down to the downs, going down fast. 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 Serial number 54129. No hibias, cribbers, hallucinogens, just the hate of paranoia, male, mid-30s, legs, leather jacket, baggy blanket, pants, goes down to the dance, going down fast, paranoia man. Goes down to the dance, going down fast. Goes down to the dance, going down fast. Butches, like eyebrows, no smugness, or droops, mental inertia. Mid-30s male in the grip of paranoia. Refer to Kuroka, the face behind him. Butches, like I just told you. Mid-30s male. Serial number 54129. He knows it in his prediction.
I could hear bikes in that as well. I'd never heard them in there before. That's The Fall in session, Paranoia Man in Cheap Shot Room. And here's another record on Sub Pop. This is a 12-inch from Pigeonhed on Sub Pop Records, LP to follow. It's called Theme from Pigeonhed. It's 11:30 on 24.1 FM, and... From Dublin, that's Pet Lamb from a single-sided LP on Blunt Records called Paranoid from the Neck Down, and Littlemeaner was the title of the track. And you may recall that on quite a few occasions, actually, about a month or so ago, I played you a single by the Palace Brothers on Drag City Records called Ohio River Song. Is that right? I think that's right, from memory. Anyway, well, there's an LP coming out very shortly, if it's not in the shops already, and it's called There Is No One What Will Take Care of You. And I was listening to it earlier this evening when I was sorting out records for the programme. It's on Big Cat Records, and it's pretty darn neat.
When he calls on me tonight, will I rise and have to greet him? Oh Lord, are you in me? He will ask of me to think of some grounds on which to meet him. Oh Lord, are you in me? The porch across the street is cold and dark and empty. Oh Lord, are you in me? The window to the left holds warmth and light to tempt me. Oh Lord, are you in me? Can one that I admire ask kneeling for my kindness? Oh Lord, are you in me? The seamlessness I granted, was that due to my blindness? Oh Lord, are you in me?
Cyberchrist, and the track's called Feeling Green. Before that, it was the Palace Brothers from a new LP called There Is No One What Will Take Care of You, and I'll try and play you at least one more track from that before the end of the programme if I don't talk too much. And the one I played you just then was Oh Lord, Are You in Need? Here's another from the...
Strike the 6 key with the J finger.
Some of those Wonka beats that you all know and love so much, Ritmista, the remix thereof, and this is number 6 in the Phantom 50, and I will at some stage before we get to number 1, and I'll read out, oh, will I? Actually, I was going to say I've got to read from number 50 up to number 2, but that would be rather boring. I suppose when I've finished it, it will be possible for you to get hold of copies of it, should you wish to, by sending the traditional stamped addressed envelope, but don't send them just yet, because I haven't started running. I'll have to run off, a couple of hundred anyway. Right, where are we? This is number 6. Teenage Fan Club, number 6 in the Phantom 50, and that's the concept, as I expect you know. This is from a new LP by Boss Hogg, but not really the sort of noise that you expect him to make. And that's on Amphetamine Reptile Records, and there's another other good track on Amphetamine Reptile coming up later in the programme too. From a CD called Girl Plus, that was Boss Hogg and Ruby, and I think I put in another one of those before the end of the programme as well. Well, it doesn't matter, we'll find out as we go through this together, won't we? This is from The Fall, in session, Ladybird, Green Grass.
very seldom middle ground for you. If you like a person, you will be the most helpful friend one could wish for.
Majajne, and that's by Akash, and it's from the LP Sky's the Limit from Oriental Star Records. Before that, of course, it was The Fall in Session and Ladybird Green Grass. That'll teach me not to try and be clever. Fishmonkeyman had a couple of different speeds for you on Groovy Cardboard Records, and Seven Monkeys in a Tree is the title of the EP, and that was Who Do You Think You Are. Before that, it was the new Bomb Turks in Session, and Never Will, and this is Culture. Thinking Fellas Union Local 282 on Hemiola Records. I Am Beautiful, I Am Good. And before that, some reissued Culture, and it's on a CD on Heartbeat Records, distributed by Topic, and called Trod On. And as I say, I spent the last week on the Isle of Man for the TT races, and didn't have much transportation for myself, and, you don't like imposing on other people too much, so I spent most of the time just wandering around the village of Kirk Michael. Went into Douglas once, and we had a bizarre picnic yesterday afternoon and yesterday evening in, intermittent light rain and heavy mist, I think, on the edge of the shore, looking over at the Calf of Man and laughing a great deal in rather foolish fashion, but it was most enjoyable. But, at the end of the day's excursions, anyway, the alarms and excursions of the day, we used to drift down through Kirk Michael to the Mitre pub at the other end of the village, and the place that we were living in was so wonderful. Andy had found it a month or so ago. The place was so wonderful. You could get up 5 minutes before the races were supposed to start, and get dressed and make yourself a cup of tea, and then just step out of the front door and sit on the wall and watch the bikes hurtle past about 5 or 6 feet away. And it was hugely exciting stuff. But as I say, at the end of the day, we'd walk down to the Mitre at the other end of the village, and here's a record which I've not heard for a long time, and you probably haven't either, and it's for anybody who may have been in the Mitre during the week. The Bhundu Boys.
Upenyu wangu ndiwe para chete, takavya ne preso panopa.
Lest we forget, they changed a lot of our lives a little bit for the better. Those are the Bhundu Boys from the classic LP Shabini from Disc Afrique, Openu Wangu. And for some reason I get loads of, well, I say loads of it. I mean, I get a few requests from people who want to hear stuff by Eric Stripp, and I'm quite happy to oblige them. This is from what I take to be their earliest recordings from March the 30th and 31st, 1992. 7-inch EP on Disc Nim from Moncton in Canada. Is it in Canada, am I right in saying that? Anyway, the EP is called, if anything, Eric Stripp, and this is Mirror. Hold on a second, I'm getting all of this wrong. There we go. That's on the record. It's not me getting it wrong again, honest. From Disc Nim, from... Well, I was thrown slightly before because I'm not quite sure about the address here. It says Moncton, then NB, Canada. Is that New Brunswick? Is that possible? Have I got this completely wrong? Anyway, that's where it seems to be based, from 1992. The second pressing of 500 copies, but it is... you can track it down. At least I tracked mine down in the rough trade shop in Camden Town in Covent Garden last weekend when I went to...
Sister or cousin, no matter to me. On every branch of that family tree, there are Kennedy girls. Don't care if she's ugly, her credit's enough. They always carry plenty of green stuff. My Kennedy girl. Mom, send me money now. I'm gonna make it somehow. I need another chance. You see, a lady loves to dance. I'll take it easy and I'll take it slow. I know that not just anything goes with those Kennedy girls.
Not quite as funny as they probably thought it was when they made it millions of years ago, but still quite interesting, I think. One of the very few sort of parodies, if that's the right word, based on a Neil Young song, I'd say. Kennedy Girls, and that's by Little Roger and the Goosebumps, and it's on, what is the record label? Richmond Records from Berkeley, California. Is there a date? There is. 1979. Whale Nation. I expect you were thinking I'd slipped on a long record and popped off home. That's Whale Nation, whale as in whale, baby whale, rather than the things in the sea that the Norwegians and Japanese hunt, and others besides, of course. Save the Whale is the title of that, the Pilchard mix, and if you want to get hold of a copy of it, I'll give you an address, well, about now. You have to send a cheque for £3 to made payable to On the Bus Records, and the address is On the Bus Records, 74 Grosvenor Road, Coventry, CV1 3FZ. That's On the Bus Records, 74 Grosvenor Road. On the piece of paper I've got here, it's spelled GROVENOR Road, but it's probably got an S in it, I'd suggest. GROSVENOR. Maybe wrong about that, but I'm sure either one will do. Coventry, CV1 3FZ. £3 cheque made out to On the Bus Records if you want to get a copy of that last record. And here's something rather... Hold on. I shouldn't throw that away, actually. Keep it, because people are bound to phone in tomorrow and say, what was the address of that record and label in Coventry? Here's a postcard from Katie Mann of London N11. Fast becoming a regular correspondent, actually, but he's got some really good news here. And I shall keep my eye on Palmer with a great deal of interest after this card. It says, when Palmer were over here a few weeks ago winning the Cup Winners' Cup in style, their Ricky Villa lookalike called Ozio took time off to buy CDs, not Simply Red or 2.5 hits of Jim Reeves, but The Fall, good man. And that's what he says, and I echo that too. I should watch out for Ozio with a great deal of interest. Is he the only professional footballer in the world who likes The Fall? It's not impossible. Here's a band we've not heard on the programme for far too long. Their best in quite a while. I think the Inspiral Carpets on Mute Records, How It Should Be. And
do you have cloud in your eye? It's 10:47.
Even our technical staff have just admitted to enjoying this fall session, and why shouldn't they? That's Service and the last of it for this time. We'll hopefully have another section.
Lifted his face from her chest with her hands and prayed on his last-ditch desire. Let's take a match to this, my husband's house, and warm ourselves in the fire. At last he thought, at last a chance to vacate my dismal past. But the beautiful lunatic's mind was mercurial, her fire lust did not last. It switched to flesh lust, she stripped herself and opened her sheets to him. He spun in his shoes, gambling to lose, a tremble, throbbing and grim. Oh. As he retired to his room, for she came calling, all a shiver stood over him in the gloom. Her nakedness hovered and steamed in the cold, a threatening glow on her scarred corpus. How he thought as she gotten so old, and balanced this wisdom and imbalance. Yeah.
And you'll hear more of that next weekend as well. The Palace Brothers, formerly in Slint, I think, and that track's called Merida from the CD There Is No One What Will Take Care of You. And I apologise for my gradual drift into incoherence in the latter stages of this programme. It's been a very full day. This is J Church.
Fathers walk the halls here eternally. When all your bankrupt dreams
Quetzalcoatl is the title of the LP on Allied Records, an import from America by J. Church, and that was Open Road. And the last record in tonight's programme comes from Sea Tank.